All right. I think we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Shimano Spool. My name is JP DeRose. We are here in the land of Timmy's. We're in Canada. We're at Shimano Canada. We are at our Peterborough location, which is one of our authorized reel centers and warranty centers. And I'm here with Chris Giles, good buddy of mine. He's actually, if I reach over, that's my hand.
He's really close.
So we're actually beside each other, which is very rare for what we do. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If you can, do me a favor. Like I always do, I want to see you guys connect with us. Let us know where you're checking in from tonight. Tonight's going to be kind of cool. We're going to be talking reel maintenance. One of the things that I think is most overlooked by most anglers, and we're also going to explain what's going on. Bobo is saying that the sound is good. That's awesome. We're running off one mic tonight. So we are here in Peterborough at Shimano's head office. And guys, just click in the comment section. Let me know where you're checking in from. And we're going to get this thing rolling tonight. Tonight's going to be all about servicing, or actually we're going to talk about what you can DIY yourself with your spinning and bait casting reels. And then we're also going to talk about what services are available here, whether it's at our Irvine, California, our Charleston, South Carolina, or our Peterborough, Ontario thing. So West Palm Beach checking in. Ron, how you doing, bud? Jason, good to see you. Real Cast Charter. So we are live on both our Facebook and our YouTube channel, like we always are. Washington checking in. Montreal, Jason Bruno, what's going on? Seth, I heard, Seth, you guys had a great event down in Florida, doing some saltwater stuff, which is awesome. I was talking to Blaine about that one. Emily, how you doing, hon? London, Ontario. Emily's one of our Renegade Bass anglers up here. Windsor, Ontario. Edmonton, Alberta. Zaid. Buffalo, New York. John A. John, what's going on? Good to see you every 2 weeks. Dave from Guelph. So people are starting to file in really good. We're going to be talking all about reel maintenance. And we've always had a saying. I mean, back in the day, we always had this thing where we said, you want to fight your fish, not your gear. And Shimano's always done a really good job at helping anglers fight the fish and not the gear. But one of the things I think for a lot of people will be a lot of great information about learning how to maintain properly your equipment, and then also knowing what's available. So I got a reel cam set up, but we got Chris. Chris?
Yep.
What's
Welcome,
going on?
everybody. Thanks for having me tonight. Yeah, we're just going to go over some basic reel maintenance that you can do at home. Just stuff to look for. I'll show you a few extra tips that you can look for in case you need to send the reel in for maintenance. But overall stuff that you can do at home, and get the reels ready for next season. And that way in the spring you're ready to go and pick them up and you're ready to go.
All right, awesome. So cool thing is here, I'm going to be able to show you guys exactly what we're looking at up close. And also, if you got questions, feel free to put them up here. I'm going to be able to see them. I've got Chris, who is one of our reel technicians. What's your actual title, Chris, so people know?
Fish warranty manager. So I do reel repairs. I do rod warranties for G. Loomis and Shimano. Basically do a bit of everything.
All right, perfect. So let's get things rolling here. Folks, again, if you have questions, post them in the comment section. If you have a buddy who could probably benefit from this, because I know a few people who have taken apart their reels and ended up sending them into Chris in a Ziploc bag full of parts. There is a lot more to a reel than you would imagine when it comes to parts. So, oh, look at this, Miguel from Peru. Good to see you, Miguel. And Bobo saying, and fishes a lot. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, anybody in Ontario kind of knows who Chris Giles is. Chris is, as good as he is at fixing reels, I think he's better at fishing. So lots of good information going to come from this one tonight. So Chris, let's start things off. I'm going to get my reel cam up and ready. Okay. But you've got a reel in front of you. Let's talk about, let me just grab my captions here. Let's start with spinning reels. And let's start with the things that a person can do from home with their spinning reels. Okay, so let me just jump in with this, and I'm going to jump in right here.
Okay, so a couple things that you should have at home, or you can get, is some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, usually around 70%, and some good old Q-tips. That's really all you need, and some Bantam oil. A lot of this here comes in with our Shimano reels. and that's the oil that you need to use on these particular reels. That's what we recommend.
So Chris, let me ask you something. Why is it important to use the reel oil that comes with the reel? Because I know a lot of people will say they've used other stuff, like they'll use WD-40, which is actually a degreaser.
Degreaser, yeah.
So why is it important?
Basically with this oil here it's like mineral oil. It's a really fine oil that covers really well, and it gets into a lot of small tight places. Our reels have a really tight tolerance in some of them, and that's what we recommend, and that's what Shimano's been using for years.
All right, so what's the first thing we could do? So we got up here, you can see spinning reel DIY maintenance. Again, we tell people don't jump the gun and strip apart your reel, because there's a lot of complicated parts in a spinning reel or a bait casting reel. What are the things they can do from home?
You know what I mean? Okay, so basically what I do is when I get something like this is one of my reels here. I serviced there a couple of years ago, so it probably needs a bit of a service here. So what I do is I pick the reel up and I spin it and just see how the reel feels. If it feels really rough or grindy, then that's something you may want to send in to get serviced. If it feels pretty good, everything seems to be working okay, then you can do your general service yourself, and then it'll be ready to go. So basically what I would do here is take the handle off. This is sort of how I do it at home or at the office here, or my time here. So just take it off, and basically what I do is you can wipe down the body here, okay, in the rotor and inside the spool, okay, and even on the backside, because you can get debris and sand and stuff in there, right? So basically that's what I would do. The other thing that I also like to do is make sure the screws are tight on the body, because sometimes if they're in a boat, the vibration, anything like that, heavily used reels, they can shake loose. So it's just general maintenance, really. It's just checking them out, making sure they're ready to go. So just make sure these are all snug. You're good to go. Back. Make sure there's no debris in behind here. Sometimes if you get line caught up or any fluorocarbon or braided line, sometimes that can affect the performance of the reel as well. Another good part here to check is the line roller here. This particular screw on the reels, because you're using the bail so much, that this screw can actually back off. And see, that one was actually a little bit loose. So you just want to give that a snug. So that's basically what you can do there. All the screws, you can just give a little check. Here, see? Good thing I did this one. See? Perfect. So yeah, other than that, what I would do then is just grab your towel here and just give it a little bit of a wipe down. You can use your Q-tips too, depends on how fussy you are and everything else. Give it all a good wipe down. Take the cap off. Okay, so on parts where to oil this, I will show you. And as far as the greasing goes, basically the grease would go inside. We don't really grease the outside of the reel with anything. We use the actual mineral, the bantam oil itself. And that way, because a little bit of this goes a long ways, grease can actually attract dirt, which can be a bad thing. So you don't want to use too much, and you want to use the proper stuff. So after I've checked everything, make sure everything's tight, you can even check to make sure, bring it up to the top, make sure the rotor nut is tight as well. Okay, you can do that, and that's the rotor nut. And again, you can take a Q-tip, clean it all around, make it really nice and clean. Any dirt or debris in there. See, look at that. So yeah, just clean it up like that. Give it a cleaning. So as far as the oil goes, I'll drop it on the side here like this. One drop like that. Give her a spin around. Same as on this side. Give it a spin. Come around. Put the cap on.
Now, Chris, I noticed on this reel, this is a couple generation old sustain.
Yep.
It's got a maintenance port. So
Yep.
can you explain that to people?
I'm going to talk about that here too. So this one here has a maintenance port. Some of the reels have them, some of them don't. And basically this port here, you take this screw out, and this allows you to access the inside without taking the whole reel apart. Okay. And basically right where that hole is right where the pinion gear is. So as you apply a couple drops of oil, and that's all it needs is a couple drops. As you turn the reel, the oil will touch and go on the drive gear as well.
All right, so you're not looking to fill this thing up till it's full.
No, and I've seen that done before. So, and with different greases, wheel bearing grease, yeah, lots of crazy stuff. So basically, you just take a couple drops.
Hold on a second, let me get focused here. All right, go ahead.
1, 2. Okay, put the cap back on. You don't need to over tighten these either.
Yeah, they are a plastic cap.
Yeah, they're just a plastic cap, and you know, put the puppy in there. Get her in there. Okay.
So again, for everybody who does buy a Shimano reel, just realize that this little baby right here comes in the box with your Shimano reel. Do not throw it out.
So another spot you can put it to is right on the spool shaft right there. Put a dab right there.
Yep.
And that'll actually run right down the main shaft into the pinion and right into the reel as well. Okay.
All right. So that's your cleaning the body, cleaning the rotor.
Yep.
Let's talk about the spool a bit, because the spool has a lot of working parts inside of it. Obviously, the drag sits inside of all of our front drag reels.
Yeah. So the drag washers are under here. So you can, unless you have the actual Shimano drag grease, you can take it apart and lubricate the drag washers. But if not, you can take a look here. This one here doesn't look too bad. As your drag washers wear, you will see actual particles of the actual
of the drag itself.
And I actually have one here that I'm actually going to service, and I'll show you. This one needs drag washers, but this is what you'll see. So if you see this, you need drag washers,
which means you should be sending it into one of you guys to.
Yeah. So you can see all the material there, drag washer material.
See if I can get focus on that. Yep, there it is right there. That's all. So what that is basically that's the felt from the felt drag washers. So this reel has been run hard, probably needs to have washers replaced.
Yeah, this reel is getting the once over tomorrow. So this one's been used pretty good. It needs some extra TLC, this one.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about, let me just get this cam off here, and I'll keep it running. So we're kind of all in the shot here. The reels themselves, you talked about the grease, and yes, the mineral oil comes, but when you send your reel into you guys, there's several different greases and oils that you guys use on the reels, correct?
Yes, we have 5 or 6 different greases that we use, right from the ASO, which is the grease that we use a lot of, the Permalube. We have synthetic grease. We have water repellent grease, special grease that goes on saltwater reels, the Stellas. We have drag grease just for the drag, for the felt drags. So, you got to use the proper stuff. You just can't throw any grease on anything.
And that's important, right? Because you'll see people try to use the one oil that comes with it is really just a lubricant for the moving parts of the reel.
That's right, yeah. So put that on there.
Okay, so now what happens when you said you feel grinding or you feel something along those lines? How does someone get a reel into you or our South Carolina Reel Center or Irvine, California? So
the information is up on our website. You can send it right to Shimano Canada here in Peterborough at 427 Pido Road, and you can mail it. If you live close, you can drop it off to us, and we have a walk-in center here, and we can look after you from there and take care of your reels for you.
All right, so I just put up a link here. You guys will see it in the comment section. We just put up a link, and that is a link. If you click on that link, that'll actually take you to the page where it gives you all the information on the reel support services that are available. And these are authorized. This is actually run by Shimano. So each one of these centers are run by Shimano. All the parts you guys might want to see. If you want to see something kind of cool, this is, I'll give you a bit of a look here, but this is Chris's workstation here. We kind of got our little mini studio set up, but all the tools that you need to work on all of the reels. But more importantly, Chris, you and I were talking earlier of why it's important not to take the stuff inside the body out, and that's because of the tolerances, is it not?
Yeah, you know, if the reel is heavily used and you take it apart and you don't match the drive and the pinion up, that can cause roughness. Not assembling it properly is another thing that we see quite a bit. People take them apart and realize there's a lot more parts in there than what they thought there was, or there's parts put in backwards, upside down, not there at all, missing. Forgot where it went. We get them back in a bag, like you said. So again, it's really up to your skill or what you're comfortable with. But we have everything here to service them for you and get them done.
All right, I'm gonna go through these comments while we're talking. Hey Bruce, how you doing? Sorry, I've been kind of filming Chris. So Gary's asking a question, a quick one. Should you wash your reels off with fresh water after use? Fresh water versus salt water, Chris, what's the importance here?
The salt water, if you're using it in salt water, obviously. In fresh water, you can, but honestly, if you don't need to, I wouldn't. I just generally wipe it down. You know what I mean? Unless you've dropped it in the sand or fishing on a beach or something like that. Something like that has a lot of sand that you want to rinse it and get a majority of it off. But usually we don't see a whole lot of that.
Okay. And I guess being in Canada, it's a little different. I mean, for our South Carolina anglers and especially for our California anglers, most of the U.S. that fishes the saltwater a lot, even BC and Canada, you're probably seeing like Murphy's reels coming in from BC. You probably see them have a little more wear and tear than your freshwater trolling guys.
Yeah, those ones there that come in from BC and a lot of saltwater reels, which they would get down in Carolina and in Irvine and that. Yeah, they need to be rinsed properly. They need to be maintained. Some of those may have to get serviced every year, depending on how heavily they're used. You know what I mean, and how you maintain them. Some of the reels aren't cheap, so it's good idea to maintain them and look after them. So.
All right, so here's a question, and this is a statement from someone saying, can Shimano add a sturdier bail line for the Stratic FL he's had to send into for bail bending? What causes bail bending? When you're bending your bail out of shape, what are you doing to the reel? What's happening?
Basically, that is something that like it's been pushed on, leaned against, jammed up against something, maybe stepped on, or rods jammed in a rod locker. We see a few of them. As far as changing it out, it's pretty tough without changing multiple components of that. So again, just on the air of caution, try to be, more gentle with them. If you find that they're out of shape, you can bend them back. Another little tip I was going to show you guys too, everybody out there, is that as far as before I put the reels away for the winter, but the ones I'm not using, I will also check my bail wire. So how you do that is obviously the operation of it, but I bring the spool right up to the top, to the stroke, and then you can sort of see that that's pretty even all the way around. So basically that bail isn't bent, and it snaps back really good. It shouldn't hang up at all. It should just snap back like that. And see that? That's perfect. So that bail's not bent at all. It's nice and crisp. So
you're bringing the reel to the top of the stroke.
Yep.
The spool to the top of the
stroke.
Right
to the top, because that's the highest where it may hit if it is actually bent. So the other thing that'll do with these particular reels is obviously I'll back the drag off so there's not pressure on the drag washers or any of the plates itself. just back them off. And if your reel has an anti-reverse switch like this particular one does,
So
I basically
I'll show you guys what that looks like. So these on the newer models no longer exist, the anti-reverse switch, but that's what that is right there.
Yeah. So basically that makes your reel spin forward and backwards. It's a one-way roller clutch. So basically I release it so it's free. Basically that relieves the springs, the tension in there, just relaxes it, basically prolongs the life of the roller clutch. So everything's just sort of relaxed, going to sleep for the winter.
All right, so good tips there, folks. So for you, those of you listening in, obviously you can clean the outside of the body. I'll put the caption on again for you. So when it comes to spinning reels, so you can clean around the rotor, you can clean the body using 70% alcohol, a cloth, Q-tips to get into the tighter areas, remove the spool, check and clean up under the spool and on top. And if you've seen felt fibers in the top of the drag section, that probably means you've worn your drags out. That's a great time to either call Shimano for parts or send it into one of our authorized reel centers. So that's a quick breakdown of dealing with a spinning reel. Let's talk a little bit about Baitcasters, because that's another. Actually, did you have anything else you want to talk about with spinning, Chris?
Spinning, yeah, I got so this one here, let me see. This one here has actually a bent bail.
Okay, so let's deal with a bent bail here, folks.
It's actually loose and it's bent.
Okay, so I'm going to go full screen here so you can see this here.
So you can see how it's loose in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that screw is loose. And then if you bring this up to the top.
Oh yeah, you can see it's how tighter on one side than it is on the other.
Yeah, so that bail is bent. So I can try and bend that back into shape. You know, if it's really bad, which this one is not, this bail wire would have to be replaced.
So the simple two-step process: tighten the screw first.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, give that a little tight, and then basically I'm going to look at it and say it needs to go back this way a little bit, and you just put a little bit of pressure on it, not too much. And then you bring it up, make sure it's up at the top, bring it right back around. You just don't want it touching, because sometimes if you go to cast, that's going to catch. So even just a little bit more. There we go. And then just check the operation of the bail. It's nice and crisp. And this should always just snap back. It should never hang up like that. It shouldn't sit like that or that. It should always come back to right back to the full position like that.
And the importance of that, obviously, if you're fishing a lot, is that it makes sure that your line ends up getting into the roller.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is end up setting the hook and having your line hung up somewhere around there, and then all of a sudden you set the hook and it's, you lose that fish.
Right.
All right, so that's an easy, quick, and dirty explanation on that. Let me go through the chat right quick. Just want to say, Gary, hey from Chicago. Miguel, the Sustain is one of the best. Yeah, Sustain is just phenomenal. If you haven't seen the newest Sustain, was that the newest one's in FD, I think it is?
It's really sweet.
It's Chris, who works on reel, is saying it's really sweet. Catherine's asking, can the reel oil be purchased separately, or does it does come with the reel, but can they buy it?
Yes. Yeah, you can buy it right through Shimano. You can actually purchase some of these greases right through Shimano too. So it is available.
If you're a DIY person and you like small parts,
absolutely, it is available.
All right. For your average freshwater person, what would be the greases they need, Chris?
I would get the drag grease, the ASO grease, and those two there should do it, along with the Bantam oil. Those three there should get you through the reel. Okay, and then so Luke, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Why oil and not grease for the gears inside the port? Obviously, the grease will attract dirt, will cling to it, but we've seen reels where they come in with heavy grease in them. What does that do to the performance? It can do a lot to the performance of the reel. If they're adding too much grease, basically, they're trying to make the reel smoother, which basically can affect the actual rotation of the reel, the smoothness of the reel, the casting of the reel, a whole bunch of problems there.
Do you find anti-reverse happens, like anti-reverse issues?
It definitely can, especially in the spinning reels. If you add too much oil or grease gets in the roller clutch, your anti-reverse can fail on you. So again, it doesn't take a whole bunch, but you don't need to overdo it.
All right. I want to say aloha from Hawaii. Jay, what's going on? Let's see. You should give a reel away to me. 13 pence. I don't think that's going to happen right tonight. But
maybe one of yours.
Kevin's asking where he can get one of those sweatshirts. That's easy. Go to fish.shimano.com. You can check out the things. But I mean, all of our retailers usually carry that exact Shimano hoodie that Chris is wearing as well. There's a nice comment for you, Chris, from Keith, saying always quick and excellent service over there on Pido Road. So
thank you. We try our best here.
All right. So we touched on this a little bit. Lewis is asking, why do you have so many types of greases, and which one do you recommend for which types of reels, which we talked about. Again, to purchase the greases online.
Yeah, you can purchase them online. They are available, and like I said, the ASO is a good all-around grease. You know, some drag grease, and obviously the Bantam oil. The Bantam oil will get you through, you know, just a general lubrication of your reel.
All right. Miguel is saying your workshop is incredible. At the moment, I am with a Stratic CI4 4000 FA. So FA being second generation Stratic CI4. So that would be
that's
the one. This is FB.
Yeah, one before that generation.
The one before that generation.
Yeah.
And he said he is learning from you. There you go.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Okay, so yes, we established. Jason from our YouTube channel is asking again about the grease and oils being purchased. Yes, they can be purchased. There's a perfect fishshop.shimano.com. There's a great post there. So you can click on that link, folks, and that'll have everything you want. Gary, glad we're helping you out here. Last time I had one serviced was 2003. Very happy, outstanding work. The fact that the last time you had to service a reel, Gary, was 2003 pretty much says enough you want to hear from Shimano quality, right? That's pretty impressive. Chris, time of year for people to send in their reels. I mean, it's got to be a lot like everybody sending in their boats to get winterized at the same time or spring tune-up at the same time. When's the best time for people to send their reels in to you guys?
Well, for us here, the best time really is this time of year, like November, December, through the winter months, and get them serviced up for the springtime when you want to get out there and start crappie fishing or perch fishing. You know, get them done, get them serviced so you're ready to go. And that way, you know, it's not a big panic and come in and, you know, you want them done really quick, and we have a whole bunch. You know, people that have multiple reels, what I tell them, you know, is take the worst ones or the ones that you want serviced or you use the most or maybe feel rough. Get them serviced first, and then just cycle through them. You don't, probably all the reels you have probably don't need servicing right at that particular time. So you can cycle through them and, you know, bring some in next year and just rotate through them. And yeah, for us, like I said, right now is the best time through the winter time. We get a lot of reels in for servicing, even out from BC. They send a lot in. You know, that it really is the best time, and that way everybody's set, reels are fixed, ready to go.
There you go. All right, so Ruth is asking, will this be available for replay? I came into it late. Yeah, absolutely, Ruth. Whether you're watching on our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel, these videos will live there forever. So this is a good one that you're going to want to share with people. Best way to share something like this is type your friend's name in the, tag them in the comment section. That'll make sure they're aware of it. But also help us share this, because Shimano Spool has been going on for over a year now. We do this every 2 weeks. We kind of bounce back and forth between saltwater and freshwater. But really the entire purpose of Shimano Spool is to educate. We're looking to, you know, help people become better at fishing. Whether it is about reel maintenance, which this is one we've wanted to do for a while, or it's about learning saltwater trends or species or tactics or freshwater, this is what we're here for. So these all live on our channels. Just click on the videos link and you should be able to find our lives there. So hopefully that will help you out. Here's a great question, Chris. This one is from Michael, and he's asking, what are the main differences between a high-end reel and a midline reel?
Well, that could be the amount of bearings that are in the reel, the drag, the particular drag that's in that reel, the material of the reel, whether it's aluminum, graphite, it just depends on a variety of things.
Good example, I guess, would be like you've got a baitcaster in your hand, gearing, spinning and bait casting, the micro module gear. Now, we're very fortunate at Shimano that in the spinning side, that cold forged Tagane gear has gone all the way down to what, like Sahara now?
Yes, and it's like I said, it's you're paying more money for a reason, and you're getting more bearings, better gearing, basically
technology.
It's
a technology, and you can see the list when you go through it. The best way to look at it, Michael, is to go on the website, and when you click on a Shimano reel on fish.shimano.com, and if you go to the freshwater reels, whether it's spinning or casting or saltwater, and you look at the technology boxes, there's a bunch of pictographs on the bottom that tell you what technologies are in our reels. So whether it's Micro Module 2 or Hagane gear or X-Ship or one of the more newer ones, Infinity Drive or Cross Carbon Drag, all of those things are listed. And what you will notice is a correlation between price and the amount of pictographs that are in each reel.
And the other thing too, is if by the whatever you have that you are allowing yourself to spend on a reel, if you're going to want to spend $200, buy a $200 reel. You know what I mean? And then that way you get the benefits of that particular reel, and it gives you more components, better components,
more
longevity.
Yeah.
So and if it's not in your budget, basically buy the best you can with the money that you have.
Yeah. It's and I've used the analogy for years about rain suits. The first time I ever bought my first rain suit, I bought like a $30 or $40 or $50 rain suit, and I got wet. And you fish enough tournaments getting wet, you decide to spend a little more money, so you go buy an $80 rain suit and you get wet. You spend $150 on a rain suit and you get wet, and you're like, I've had enough of this. You spend your $400 to $600 or $800, you get a Gore-Tex rain suit, and you never get wet again. Well, the same thing kind of happens with reels. The more money you spend, the better technology is, the longer it's going to last you. And when you divide the amount of time you own something versus the amount of money you spend, basically per year, usually the higher end stuff ends up costing you less because it will last longer, be it materials or technology.
Yeah, so you're not buying it every few years.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so someone's asking, Matt on our YouTube channel is asking, is there a class I can take to learn on how to work on reels? I'm wanting to learn how to do it myself.
It's a good question. Basically, I'm not 100% sure, but there's a lot of information on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what we're showing you here, I don't know as far as classes go, but I know I was trained down in the US by some of the top technicians down there, Dan being one of them. And I'm not 100% sure with that, but I'm sure there's a wealth of information out there, basically. You know what I mean?
And YouTube is a great source of information when it comes to that stuff like that, for sure. All right, so let's keep going here. Tyler's saying, I have an SLX DC 150XG, so that is the high, the 8.4 to 1, I believe it is. I've had it for almost a year, and it got very rough after a month of using. So what could be the issue there, Chris?
It could be the pinion bearing. It could be maybe the gears. Maybe there's some dirt in there or something. I would have to take a look at it and see, without just guessing in that. So, but if it feels rough, could be something simple as a bearing. Maybe it just needs a good cleaning. Maybe there's something more inside there, but basically, it would have to be taken apart and inspected. And what we do here is when we get the reels, we basically strip them right down and take them all apart. We have a hot dip tank in the back. It's this ultrasonic cleaner, and basically it degreases all the reels, the grease off the reels, takes any sand, the grease, cleans them right up like new, and then basically we rebuild the reel, make it just like new, put all new fresh grease in it, and any parts that it requires to make it like new. And when you get it back, it's just like new. And that's our goal.
Yeah, that is the goal, definitely. And I've seen this from so many people, and you get comments like this that kind of pop up all the time. Chris is the best, just boxing mine up. So people are enjoying the service that's being offered at all of our reel service centers, and it's a very important thing. We're supporting the people that support our company, and no kidding, you will send your stuff in after 5-6 years of use, and it'll come back like the day you bought it. So it's a very, very, very good program to keep your stuff in tip-top working order. Because the last thing you want is to end up on Chris and I were talking about guys who take fly-in trips, and you spend a lot of money. You work a long time to get on these trips, to have this trip of a lifetime, and then the last thing you want to be doing is fighting your gear. So always a good idea to follow the age-old adage that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And it really is, especially when it comes to reels. All right, so here's one from Bobby. Generally, what would you say the average turnaround time is for a reel sent in to be serviced? And obviously this will be dependent on when you send it in.
Yeah, exactly. So right now you're looking about, a week. It basically depends on how many reels we have in at that time. We try to keep it within a 3 to 5 day turnaround time is what we try. So basically, and that's depending on parts as well. We stock a lot of parts here, just so, we can get those turn times, get the reel back to you quicker, and get you fishing. So it basically boils down to how many reels we have in-house and parts availability. And, that's what it comes down to.
All right. So obviously, I would say to you, Bobby, if you're going to do this, try to get it on the off times. Like Chris said, now is a great time. End of season is a great time. Don't send your reels in April and expect them to come back in a week, because that will be when the mass influx of people who delayed all winter send in their reels and be like, oh my God, the ice is melting off our lakes. We need our reels. So here's a cool statement here. Bernie Schultz is saying he still has a Sustain 3000 gifted to him by Dave Pfeiffer, our president, which has been used in fresh and saltwater repeatedly for more than 6 years. Never received a detailed cleaning or lube, and still spins like a top.
Yeah, those are rock solid reels.
Yeah,
very good reels.
Yeah, and again, I can mimic that perfectly, because I have reels that I've owned for 15 years that have never seen an ounce of service. Chris, how many reels have I ever? My saltwater stuff is probably the only stuff that I've ever sent into you.
Pretty much, yeah. And we just serviced some of those not too long ago for you. So.
Yeah, we did. We had some Tranxes that have taken a bit of a beating down in Panama. That
we've seen how you fish.
I'm a little abusive on gear sometimes. Okay, so this is a good one here. So Lewis is asking, when servicing a reel with Core Protect or X Protect, what should we be mindful of, and which areas should we be cautious of in order to prevent the coating from coming off?
Yeah, basically what you'd want to do with that is, just wash it with, if you can wipe it off with a rag with water, maybe a little bit of soap, but nothing too harsh, because you don't want to take that coating off. And again, inside with the gaskets, there's special grease that we have to lubricate and to protect that. So again, you got to be careful on what you're doing there. Just basically a general cleaning, a light cleaning.
Yeah, and Lewis, your concern should be with, yes, Core Protect for sure, EI surface treatment, yes, but X Protect is really a labyrinth system that's built into the channels that are penetrable by water. So that is something you really don't have to be too concerned about, because it is designed internally
to keep the water out.
Yeah, Core Protect, definitely EI surface treatment. Anything protecting the surface of that reel, especially in saltwater applications, because saltwater is so harsh on your stuff.
Yeah, so corrosive.
Yeah, it will find its way in. There's Andrew. Chris is the best. Chris, you're just getting lots of love tonight, bud.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so what grease is best for saltwater Stella?
Saltwater Stella, we have special grease for that. Again, different components on that reel require different greases, so it's not necessarily one grease. Stella reels are best to be sent in for servicing. A lot of our reels have, again, tight tolerances. require special grease in certain areas, and we have special tools also to service those reels, including the drag on those. So those are getting a little bit more technical, that should be serviced by.
Now, are they covered under the platinum warranty?
Yes.
So that's something. So explain that to me, Chris. There's a certain reels in our lineup that have a lifetime warranty, sort of service warranty.
Yeah. So basically, with the platinum service reel, like a high-end reel like that, we try to offer 48-hour turnaround time on those particular reels, and you know, depending on, we stock the parts for those reels. If something we don't, then obviously we don't charge you for that. It comes with those particular reels, and usually get one free service for that. So yeah, it's really good. It's a really good benefit to have, but those reels are technical, definitely, and should be serviced by Shimano service.
With that kind of investment, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think when you are spending that kind of money for what is the flagship reel for Shimano in reality, yeah, have the professionals do it. It's just so much.
Yeah, by the time you buy all the different grease and taking that thing apart, there's a lot of parts in those reels, a lot, and they're very complex reels. And some of the manuals actually tell you that they shouldn't be taken apart, that they should be sent into a service center for that. Again, like I said, there is special tools to service those reels because of the tolerances are so tight. And that's what I would recommend, to be honest with you.
All right, so Hunter's asking here on our YouTube channel, I want to swap out my Bantam from a 6 to a 7 to 1. So basically from a regular to an HG. Are the gears themselves all he needs, or is there more to it?
Yeah, you'll need the pinion and the drive, and you should be able to swap them out, change the gear ratio. And some incidents, I don't know them all, but some of them, the drag washer will have to be changed too, because there's a different size. The actual drag pressure plate can be bigger or smaller and may not line up with the drag washer. So you may not have that surface cover for drag.
So out of curiosity, Chris, is that something that someone can send in to you guys and say, hey, I would like to upgrade my gears?
Yes, 100%. We just did some last week. Actually, we changed out 3 reels for gear ratios for a fella that wanted his reels changed from a low gear ratio to the HG gear ratio, and we were able to do that for him at his request, and basically just made notes that, hey, we changed him. We gave him his old pinion and drive back in the box for him, let him know that it's been changed to the HG as he requested. So it is something definitely that can be done.
Awesome. Well, there you go, Hunter. Hopefully that helps you out a bit, bud. I love these little messages we're getting about people. Like, I have an older green Corrado from 2005 on a V-Rod, which, I mean, the
From
Shimano,
2000?
Yeah, from 2000. The Shimano V-Rod was actually a Loomis blank built for Shimano.
Yep.
And just some regular cleaning, light oil grease, and it still works A1. So that's another testament to the longevity of the stuff that we have. So let's see. Max drag 1122. I'm trying to catch up with some of these guys. Oh, there we go. We'll be rolling out a series of how-to videos on these topics in 2022. That's from Shimano. So there you go.
Awesome.
I know a camera guy. I've got 5 Corrado greenies that I bought new, still operate. Let's see this one here. From Will on YouTube, still operate as new. I have the new K's, Bantam, and Metanium reels, and 0 regrets. I mean,
excellent.
The technology has been getting so much better. It's the one thing I always say this in seminars when I do seminars. It's people ask about, everything seems to be going up in the world in price, and fishing is one of those things that you get more technology for the same, if not less money, as we did. I look at Noski as an example. Noski's got technology that maybe Stella had in 3 generations ago.
Yeah. Thing I find with the reels, how smooth they're getting. Like, how can you make them even smoother? With the spinning reels, what I call like the inertia when you turn them, there's like very little effort to turn these reels. Super smooth, light, durable. Like, they're just, the technology nowadays is insane.
Now I'm going to bring this one up. This is one that it could be a number of reasons, but let's see if we can walk through this. So Hunter is saying he had a Metanium B go, basically all his bearings went bad. Had it serviced, still wasn't good, so he sold it. It was a sweet reel, so I want to give it another shot. Any possible explanation and how to avoid? So what would cause bearings to go bad, especially all of them? I can understand one, because they are in a Metanium all SARB, they're shielded anti-rust bearings. So
yeah, that's pretty strange to have all the bearings go. Not saying it's not possible, but very strange. But you know, sometimes on those particular ones there, because the spool spins so fast, the spool bearing can make noise, and we've seen a few of those. But other than that, you know, it could be something else. But that's a hard one, like I said, unless I actually physically see the reel and take it apart and check, inspect the bearings myself. That's the only thing I could think of. It would probably be a noisy spool bearing. Yeah, that's
it's
what
very
I
rare. I'd be interested to know, Hunter, where you got it serviced, if you did send it into Shimano or if you sent it into a local tackle shop or whatever. But I'd be very curious to know, because that's Metaniums are one of our flagship reels. I mean, they're one of my lifelines. I mean, I've been using Metaniums for the last 4 generations, and they're just incredible. So
yeah, and you know, we get other reels or Shimano reels sent in with other bearings put in them from different companies, and we've had faulty bearings with them. And the customer's like, no, I just put this particular bearings in, and you know, it's noisy. And then we contact the customer, say, hey, we had to replace the bearing. Well, I just bought those, and the bearing's actually bad. And we put our bearing in, fixes the noise.
and we've heard this with ceramic bearings as well. People are looking for extra casting distance. They throw ceramic bearings in. Ceramic bearings are notoriously noisy.
Yes. And you know, with the technology that Shimano has, they put the best components in the particular reel that they're building. You know what I mean? As far as changing them out, you can, but I don't think it's really necessary. You maintain the reel, they last a very long time, and they perform.
Okay, so here's one over on our YouTube channel. Walter's asking, what causes the worm gear in a Shimano Stella spinning reel to be rough out of the box, as in feeling ticks as the spool is moving up and down?
That could be, just trying to think what that would be. It could be a couple things. It could be something that's in the actual worm shaft itself. Okay, maybe the pawl in there, the cap screw could be a little bit loose. Could be something on the backside. Again, it would be something I'd have to take a look at. But there's a bearing on the back of that particular worm shaft, on the front and the back of that too. So it could be a bearing. Hard to say.
All right. Well, hopefully that helps. I would just suggest, if it's a Stella and it came out of the box like that, you just got to get that.
Yeah, that needs to come in, and
yeah,
we will look at it for you and get that fixed up for you.
And right quick, being a Stella.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll take care of that. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so is there an ETA? Now, Chris wouldn't know this, but hopefully our friends at Shimano can answer this. Is there an ETA when walk-ins will be allowed in Irvine, California Service Center? I know you guys are allowing walk-ins now here in Peterborough.
Yeah, we started walk-ins about, I guess about a month ago there now, so, which has been great. There's people that love this service here. They can bring the reels right in. Some of them don't like sending them in through the mail in case they get lost or damaged. People like to know that they're physically here and we've got them in our hands. The other thing that's awesome about the service that we offer is in the summertime, you know, we get lots of people up in the Kawarthas that are fishing that may have had an accident with the reel, a bent bail, bent handle, lost a handle screw cap, or anything like that. They come in here and we fix them up. We get them fishing, hook them up, no problems at all. Get them right back out on the water fishing and provide the best service, customer service that we can for them.
All right, so guys, we're getting like, I can't even keep up to your questions, which is awesome because we've got a topic which obviously there's a lot of interest in. We've got a lot of hardcore Shimano users, and I'm trying to get to them. I don't think we're going to get to them all because we've already been doing this for 49 minutes and we haven't even talked Baitcaster. So I'm going to put a break on the questions, guys, and I'm sorry, but I want to be able to give you guys as much information tonight as we possibly can. I'm thinking we're going to need to have Chris back on.
This is just a general cleaning, what you can do at home and what to do over the winter. with your reels.
So this is obviously a great topic for a lot of people, but let's get to the Baitcaster thing, because I don't want to miss it. Just like spinning reels, there's a bunch of DIY you can do at home yourself without getting into. This makes me laugh every time I see it, but who's seen this before?
Hey. That's my little bit of parts that I use on a daily basis.
Yeah, but I've seen people take apart their reels and this is what they end up with. So let's talk general DIY. Just like the spinning reels, let's talk about the 3 parts you can maintain, which are the cleaning the braking, cleaning the body, and cleaning the spool.
Yes. So basically on a Baitcaster, what I would do is same thing, spin it, see how it feels, the overall feel of the reel, see if it feels rough, just check it out, check the drag. What I do with the drag too is tighten the star drag down and turn the drag or the handle like this. And it should be nice and smooth like that. If it's jumpy, the drag needs servicing. So that's another way that you can tell. You can crank it down and you can actually see that's pretty smooth. So that's one thing that I do. Okay, so as far as servicing it and checking it out. So there's the brake case. Okay. And this is the spool.
So there's your 3 parts. You got a side plate, a spool, and a body.
Yeah. So basically what I would do with something like this with the brake weights, this here can get dirt, and on this particular model here with the brake weights, they need to be cleaned. Okay. And again, just as simple as the rubbing alcohol. So I would grab a Q-tip. Again, this is general, but this is actually very important on these Baitcasters. So you just clean that ring like that. And I just clean all around there. Okay. Clean any debris that's in there, any dirt that gets in there.
You wouldn't think there's much in there, but look at that.
Yeah. Another thing I do is clean around the spool, because sometimes you can get algae build up in there, dirt. Same thing. Just clean that around there like that. Okay, sometimes I'll even just roll it around, give the spool shaft a bit of a wipe. So let that sit, and I'll oil that in a minute. So then you can see inside here too, there's actually a bearing sitting inside there and where the pinion is. This reel needs a really good cleaning, as you can see.
See if I can get focus on that. You can see all the dirt that's built up on the inside. And again, that's where all your line is coming in, being reeled onto and casting off. So all the debris that your line collects in the water ends up on that body.
Yeah. So again, what I do with these is I check all the screws. It's the same sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like it's just general maintenance, but it's important.
Don't lose the spring either.
Yeah. So this one here, see this one here, I would clean this one, strip this one right down, but make sure everything's tight on it. Okay. And there's one here for the thumb bar. Okay, right there. Okay, and the other one there too, that this pull cap too, you make sure that it's tight too as well. Okay, so there's a slot there, you can make sure that that's tight, because sometimes that will come back. So basically, as far as cleaning, take a Q-tip, clean that worm gear in there.
So what you're doing is you're spinning the handle so you show all sides of that worm gear?
Yep, just give it a clean. You can see some of the stuff coming off of there right now. You can see it in there. And when they're really bad, like I said, we strip these right down the hot, look at that, the hot dip tank. It will, it cleans these up, makes them look just like new. Yeah. This one will need a little bit more cleaning as far as the body and everything goes. I'm not going to get right into that, but yeah, so clean that.
Oh, I think we lost my phone. We're still live.
Still live?
We're still live, but we lost the phone.
Lost the phone, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, well,
still going.
basically,
just lift your reel up. The camera's
what
right
I'll
there.
do here is I'll try and show you this way here. So with this here, then what I would do is I'd put a drop of oil right in here. Okay, like I say, you don't need very much, just a drop or two. Same as on here, right on the level line. Drop there, got a spin. Get it all around in there. Okay. As far as the brake weights go, what I like to do with these as well is there's 2 on, 2 off. That's sort of standard. But over time, if I've used it a couple, seasons with those ones there, I'll just swap them out. I'll put these 2 on.
So this is the original SVS Infinity braking. The new clips. Do we have a reel here with new clips, Chris? Because that's something I get a lot of questions about the SVS Infinity braking. And SVS Infinity braking being that is the first generation that we had seen in the North American market was on that Chronarch CI4.
Yeah, I have one here. Just getting back to this here, basically what you can do is I put a little bit of oil right on the Q-tip and then just rub it around this brake case right here.
And that's a race, isn't it? Is that what they call it?
Brake race, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Because if this is dry and these are dry, these can be noisy.
And that was the one thing we noticed when that first gen system came out, was that you needed to do some braking maintenance to that CI4 SVS Infinity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Put a little dab in there.
So 1 drop inside the spool tensioner.
Yep. And then just reassemble it. And the same sort of thing at the, when you're done using it, back the drag off just to relieve all the pressure there.
All right, let's close that one off. So there's some good information. Now I'm afraid to look at the chat section because I have a feeling we're gonna have a whole bunch of questions here. All right, Brock, good seeing you, bud. Thank you. We talked a bit about that, Andrew, about the ceramic bearing versus high-end bearings versus our bearings. This is a good one. That's a good point. And Chris was just talking about that worm gear track. He's saying sand in the worm tracks or worn paw, right? Like that's something that you see commonly coming in.
Yeah, and sometimes with the pawl cap being backed off, makes the pawl walk away from the worm gear, right, and that can cause wear as well.
All right, let's see. Why am I still seeing? Let me turn that one off. There we go. That's better. All right, so hello from Idaho. Ryan, what's going on? Oh my God, there's just so many people. We've had such great interactions tonight. This is awesome. Again, folks, this is another live. Sorry, I've been so inundated answering questions here and having Chris go through all the products. But this is another Shimano School, and we're live here in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, land of Tim Hortons. Okay, we're having our Timmies.
Hey.
Yeah, Chris has got his Timmies too.
Can I have one now?
Yeah, you can have your Timmies now, Chris. So basically, we're at the Shimano Reel and Warranty Center. We're taking questions about reels. We're doing as much as we can for you guys. Tonight was all about DIY, stuff you can do yourself to maintain your reels. And then also, we've given you guys a bunch of information about how to send your reels in, what the best time of year to do it is, what kind of goes on here. It's a lot. We're going to have to do this again. There's no two ways about it. And I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. So if you've got Shimano, I just noticed posted at, I guess that's about 8 minutes ago. They said, if you've got a particular question, drop them in the comments on the video and we can get back to you after the live. So that's a massive thing because guys, there is no way. There's been so many questions tonight about reels and so many passionate Shimano users that we can't possibly keep up, which is great. I mean, it's a phenomenal thing. So let's see. I'm going to try to get a couple more in here. Chris, let's see. What do you know? Anything about Beastmasters?
Not too much. No, okay. Most of that gets down to the US.
So Seth, I know Seth Funt. Seth is one of our field staffers. Seth's asking about maintenance on a Beastmaster reel. I would say, Seth, your best source of information might be Dan Thorburn or someone in our southern.
Yeah, they service them down there. We don't really service them here in Canada. We just don't see enough of them here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the only place here in Canada you probably see them would be on the BC coast for the halibut guys, the guys going for barn doors might be using them, but even they don't really use them.
Yeah, we see more Talicas and stuff than anything really.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's see. Let me keep scrolling down here. Oh, that hurts me. Ron, old man in the sea, is saying I needed a real retrieval beacon system on my last Shimano Torium, stolen by what I believe was a huge tuna off the island of Tobago. Our bad, not the real. Sorry, just to interject a smile. I'm smiling, but I'm smiling with you, Ron. I'm not smiling at you. I promise. All right, so let's see. So the Real Repair Center link, guys, is in the, if you scroll through the comments, I posted a link in there to the Real Repair Centers, and that is off our fish.shimano. If you're looking for it, easy way, go to fish.shimano.com. If you go to the bottom, there is a support section on the bottom of the page. You can click on that, and you can go over and see where everything is. There you go. There's it, and Shimano posted it again. That's perfect. Thank you, guys. Whoever's keeping track of that.
Good stuff.
Buck Titler. Giles,
Bucky.
Giles the real king. Okay, so here's one. This one is from our YouTube. Joel, can I put the Bantam oil in the small access hole underneath the main gear case on my Chronarch? That's interesting because that's a drain port. Is it not?
Yes. From what I can see and understand from that question, yes. Yes, so that's a drain port.
Can you put the oil in there?
You can, but, you know, again, it's more of a drain port than anything. Bit of oil is better than no oil, I guess, but, you know, again, to service that properly is taking it apart and putting actually grease on the gear itself.
Okay, and here's one. So Michael's asking, do you replace bearings or clean and lube them for platinum service?
If they need bearings, we replace them.
Because they are shielded. So for those of you who don't know, Shimano's got two bearings basically. We've got our standard bearings in our lower end reels, and then they've got the shielded SARBs, they're called, shielded anti-rust bearings. That are, the reason they are that is to stop debris from getting into them. Chris, do you happen to have one in front of you somewhere?
Bearings?
He's got all kinds of bearings here. Folks, you got to see this. Actually, it'd be pretty cool for you to see kind of what happens here.
He's got bearings for bearings.
He's got bearings for bearings. So if you're wondering why you can't just throw aftermarket stuff in, there's a few bearings that Shimano uses. Okay, everyone has a part number that correlates to a specific reel. And when you see these guys have the exploded views of all these, they know exactly what part every bearing's from. So we have SARBs here, and there is some that are not, correct?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So this would be a regular bearing right here. You could see the actual bearings inside the thing. It's not shielded. And then here is a shielded. So you can see it's got a cover that stops dust and dirt from getting into them.
Thank you.
It's working here. So we're
want to
saying,
make sure it's all working.
We're seeing that people are saying that my phone is frozen. So I don't know if it was or not, but I'm hoping you can see that. Chris, just in case it was, if you can hold up to the camera there, the difference between the two bearings. So there was one right there.
Yeah.
That's a good size one. So the difference between a shielded anti-rust and a regular bearing, yep. Down a bit, Chris.
Down
and over a bit. Yep. Kind of hard to see because the focus is on Chris's shirt. So pull him back a bit. But you can see the one on the right you can see the actual bearings. The other one's shielded. It's got a cover on it. So thank you to Bobo for keeping an eye on my phone to see if it's frozen or not. All right, let's see. Let's keep going through. Okay, here's a question for you, Chris. You might have an answer for this one. Bobby McDonald's asking, he has 3 Tranx 400s. He loves them. However, one of the 3 seems to underperform compared to the other 2, meaning when he attempts to cast a lure, the one casts significantly shorter with similar effort in casting. What would cause, now, I'm assuming, Bobby, you've checked inside to make sure that the braking is all the same on all 3, because that would be the first thing I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
If one of your VBS variable braking pins is on more than the other ones, so there should be 4 or 6 in the Tranx.
There's 6.
Okay, actually we got a Tranx right here. Chris,
Yes.
grab that Tranx.
Okay.
So we'll show you the inside of a Tranx. A Tranx has not SVS infinity braking, it has variable braking system, the original Shimano, and there's 6, you can see right there, there's 6 pins on that. When the pins are in the out position, so you can see a bit of the shaft underneath them, that means they are active or working. Okay, when they are clicked down, that means they are inactive. Make sure that all 3 of your reels have the exact same amount. I know for Tranx, because they're made for throwing bigger lures, typically I run 3 on, 3 off, or 4 on and 2 off.
Yeah.
Because the lures are a lot bigger, you don't need to really finesse it. Make sure, Bobby, that all of them are. Now, Chris, if it isn't that,
check the cast control cap, how tight that is, because that can play a factor as well.
Yep.
As far as the casting, make sure there's no debris inside there. And maybe it might even be the spool bearing. It's hard to say, you know what I mean? It could be one of those, but that's what I would start with. Check the braking, check the adjustment of the cast control cap, look inside on the spool on this side, check to see if there's any debris on this side here of the spool. Like right in this area here. See if it's all clear in there. And maybe this bearing is rough.
So those are your key points. So I would say, Bobby, if you're looking, make sure that all the things that are controllable are equal. And if not, you can always send them into your local service center. If it needs new bearing, that may be the case. But hopefully it's something as simple as your VBS braking is a little bit different between the 3 reels. All right, and let's see. We'll just keep going. A little freeze. Yeah, Shimano's saying a little freeze on the cell phone. You can run through it again. All right, so we just went through that. Bobo, sorry, I'm just getting these now, guys. I'm just getting inundated, slammed with comments here. Okay, so here's one here. So Michael's saying, I have a Corrado 200 DHSV. That's like 4 gens ago.
Yeah, it's
had an internal part break and was told there's no longer parts. Can you help? So what is the deal? Because there is a time frame on everything. Is there not, Chris?
Well, yeah. Usually what happens is after 5 years, we slowly start to discontinue the parts. And, once those parts aren't available, basically then, that reel chances are is worn out and it's time to replace it. And, that's basically what you need to do. If it's a newer current reel that we don't have parts on or available, or that are discontinued for some reason, we would help the consumer out that way there. But with those reels that are getting up to 15 to 20 years old, Shimano just can't keep making parts for those reels. There's so many reels, so many parts. Basically it's just one of those things.
All right. So let's see, I'm still getting texts here as well.
And there's other things too. Like you can go online and you may be able to find a parts reel. You know what I mean? And here at the shop, we have what we call salvage reels. Some older reels that customers have just given us, donated, just dropped off, can't be bothered, or there's no parts, or worn out, or they're damaged, and we can salvage some parts off of them. So we've also helped customers out that way by taking some parts off of the salvage reels that have been dropped off. And those parts are discontinued, but we may have some here at the shop. So that's sort of another cool thing that we offer too.
All right, so here's another one. Tyler on our YouTube channel is saying, do you faster reels as in the HG and XG models? Do they get rough over time as in use, or how fast the ratio is? So this is a cool question actually, and it goes a lot to the technology of X-Ship. I think plays a lot to do with this. Over the years, higher gear ratio reels tended to be a little weaker, not as much torque. You always heard the analogy between torque and gear ratio. The lower the gear ratio, the more torque the reel had. So Chris, from what you've seen, does an 8.4 to 1 or 8.5 to 1 Corrado DC have any less or more wear than, say, a regular 6.3 to 1?
They both have, wear for sure. I would say the high gear would probably have a little bit more wear on it for sure. There's more teeth, it's turning, it's just one of those things with the especially an XG reel.
So now how has the double bearing supported pinion gear and X-Ship helped that?
That's prolonged the life of it for sure, and made it extra smooth because you have that double supported pinion bearing, and basically you got the less flex in there, okay, and keeps in better contact with the drive gear. So, but like anything else, you know, again, servicing the reel, keeping grease in there, maintaining it, you know, it'll definitely help prolong the life of the reel.
There you go. Well, hopefully that helps you a bit, Tyler. All right. Sorry about the freeze. Hope everyone saw the difference between the shielded bearings. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more questions because we're already 10 minutes over. This is like insanity, but I love it. I love the fact that you guys are so involved in this. So Jason from our YouTube channel says, I had learned once upon a time that you should oil bearings and grease gears. Are there exceptions to this rule?
Are there exceptions to the rule? I still grease the gears and I oil the bearings. Yeah, I would say do it. Absolutely, that's what.
But use the correct grease, the correct oil.
Well, yes, absolutely. That's all I use, so I'm so used to it.
All right. I love the rumor mill. The rumor mill is spinning in our comment section. I love this. Ty, I'm glad this is working for you. Shimano service has been nothing short of stellar. I love it. All right, guys. We have held Chris up. Chris has worked a full day today. And even though we fed him wings, which I know Chris loves wings, we've
Yeah,
he loves wings. Trust me, if anybody loves wings. But we have kept him here till 9:11, which he probably started at 9 o'clock this morning.
Come on, 8:30, bud.
8:30. So, folks, if you could do me a favor, click the share button. That helps us get the word out on this thing. I would say if you have any questions, like the guys at Shimano said, post them up here in the comment section. Tag a buddy in the comment section who could use this. If you have a friend who has a pile of gears sitting on a table, tell them to bag them up, put the reel in a box, put their name on the box. Oh, Chris, what's the biggest thing you see when people send in reels? What do they forget to do?
What do they forget to do?
Yeah, do they forget to put their contact information in the box?
Oh yeah, we see a few things. We
Don't
see
do that.
No contact information. Sometimes, yeah, we just get it. No information, no phone number, no email, and I guess we just guess whose it is, or
you
wait for somebody to call. Where's my reel?
An angry email or phone call saying, "Where's my reel?" So, folks, if you're going to send your stuff in, again, we've got 3 service centers run by Shimano, trained Shimano employees. One in Irvine, California, one in Charleston, South Carolina, and this one run by Chris Giles here in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. Do not forget to put your contact information and let them know what the problem with the reel is.
And there is a reel sheet that you can fill out online too and print off.
Well, there you go. So you can explain what the issue is with the reel.
Because and we have them here too as well. If you come in and stop in, we have the sheets here you can fill out as well. So, but they are on PDF on our website.
Awesome. Well, again, folks, I really appreciate everybody hanging with us tonight. This has been an awesome Shimano school. I want to thank Chris Giles for hanging out with us. We will do this again, I promise you, because this has been a really, really good one. I hope everybody has a great night. Again, if your questions weren't answered by us tonight, hopefully our team at Shimano will get to them. I hope everybody's doing well. We will talk to you soon. Everybody have a great, great week.